Hey friend, welcome to Sanctification Station, the podcast helping Christian women live their faith boldly. If you have been feeling like God is asking more of you lately, but you're unsure of what that looks like or where to start, you are not alone and you are in the right place. Today's conversation is so special because we are talking about surrendering to obedience. And I'm joined by Maddie, who has such a powerful story of stepping out in faith, even when it didn't make sense, even in the midst of loss. I can't wait for you to hear this, so let's get into it. And so today I have Maddie Tome with me.
Hello.
To share her story. She has been on a long faith journey, longer than me for sure. So had lots and lots of struggles, but also some redemption, definitely some surrender and all of that in between. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Okay.
So those of you wanting to feel encouragement, she is your girl. So,
Yeah.
so I guess we can get started. I guess maybe not just like from the very, very beginning, but can you just kind of explain a little bit about how you grew up, where your faith was when you grew up, and then kind of to the point where you like truly felt God in your presence?
Yeah. So I grew up in church. We were always in church. I was baptized when I was like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was a God. He was my homie type of thing, but it wasn't like a relationship.
Yeah.
It was this is our religion. This is what we do on Sundays. This is blah, blah, blah. When it really got stirred up when me and my husband got married. We got married in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always like, I don't want kids like right away. Don't ask me to have kids within the first year, blah, blah, blah. Well, within like 9 months, I was like, let's have kids. So we decided to have kids. We got pregnant right away. I had the best time of my life pregnant. I loved it. Loved the way I looked. I loved the way my body changed. I just loved everything about it. And then we got to our 20-week ultrasound, and it was very apparent very quickly that something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, let's go up and talk to the doctor. And me being totally no idea, I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I remember I was so sure that our baby was a boy, and they never told me the gender. And I was like, that's weird. Why wouldn't they tell us?
Yeah.
And so we go up, and the doctor's like, let's talk about your baby. And we're like, okay. Me still being like, oh. She very quickly, very coldly said, this baby is not compatible with life and it will die.
Yeah.
So gut punch, like,
yeah, sure.
Nobody in our family's ever lost a baby. Like, just, it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
It was like an out of body experience, like immediate shock.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in waves. I was kind of like, now looking back, I'm like, I was in shock for weeks. But then I was like telling people, like, right now I know I was in denial.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they're lying to me. There was something weird going on, and God is going to heal my baby, and I'm going to bring him home. It's going to be fine. Still didn't know it was a boy for sure, but, so that really rocked my world. And we ended up having him, we went to like the private, like 3D, 4D ultrasound.
Oh,
just to get more pictures, because they obviously were not going to give us anything more than your baby's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the 3D 4D, and immediately as soon as they put the wand on my stomach, he was gone.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, do you want anything else? And I was like, can you tell me the gender?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's a boy.
Yeah.
I don't tell that story all the time. So just like, God, I knew it was a boy. Like, it just seemed like it was going to be magical and like all these things. And so we got 11 more days from the time that they told us that he was going to die to the time that we found out he had died. So 11 days in shock. Just, we went straight home. We didn't do anything. I mean, the appointment was in the evening. So we're like, well, we'll just go home, I guess.
Right.
Next morning, I called the hospital, and they were like, why didn't you come in? I'm like, because he's already dead. Like, I don't know. Nobody told me what to do.
Nobody walked me through the process.
Right. So they gave me the option. I could have like a surgical removal, or I could be induced to deliver him. And I was excited for that part of pregnancy. So I was like, we're gonna induce and we're gonna deliver him.
Still experiencing. How many? Yeah. I'm sorry. How many weeks were you again?
I was 21.
21 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, and he had stopped growing at 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go and we get admitted, and all of our family was there. Like, for is like crazy and depressing as it was, there was a lot of joy. I remember, like, everybody was there, everybody was laughing and joking, and it's like, it was all good up until it was time to deliver, and it was like, like, just it was horrible. So we delivered him on November 13th, 2019. His name is Bennett. Yeah. So in talking with the doctors, they're like, this is a crazy chance that this was happen, but we're going to do genetic testing. So they did take, some of his cord, and they're like, yeah, nothing came back. Like, it was just a fluke. Oh. So we're like, okay, well, it'll never happen again. So the next few months, my mom is like, eventually my mom and my sister were like, nobody wants to be around you because you are so angry. And I'm like, yeah, I'm angry. Like, duh. But from that, like, I went to I was hopeful, God's going to be with me, it got to the point where I'm like, I don't even think God's real. Yeah. Like, and I don't have a relationship with my dad. And I remember thinking, I can't depend on my earthly father, and now I can't depend on my godly father either. Yeah. Like, first of all, why would he let me get pregnant so quickly? And it was magical. And then it just like, no. So that was really tough to walk through. And my mom says it was a long time, but I don't remember. I was in shock. It doesn't seem like that long, but
your timelines and her timelines are a little bit different.
Yeah, she's like, it was like months. I was like a week. She's like, I don't think so. But yeah, it was a while. Like, I don't even think God's real. Yeah, like, I don't. But that was a scary place to be in. I had never been to the point where God's not real, and like my whole bringing up is a sham. Like, it was scary, and there was no hope. And it was a scary place to be. And I was like, I gotta do something, because I'm gonna lose my family because they don't want to be around me, and there is no hope. I feel like I'm dying every day. Right. So I ended up, my healing journey from that, I used The Unfolding a lot. Like, I just binge listened to The Unfolding podcast, which was all these people that have been through hell and back, and they still came to God, and could look back and see all the goodness and, the redemption. I'm like, if all these people can do it, and some of them are way worse than my situation, I can do it. Like, yeah, it's heard of. So that was really my healing journey, just really putting my head down and being like, okay, God, like, I'm choosing to work with you instead of against you. So we decided to try and have another baby. Got pregnant right away again. And that pregnancy was hard.
What year was that then?
So he was born in November of 2019. I got pregnant in March of 2020. Okay. Yeah. So
through that whole process, you went through your anger. I don't even know if God isn't real. There's no hope, to listening to the Unfolding podcast, to feeling like you can be redeemed and there is hope. And then that's from November to March.
Yeah. See, so it was 2020. It wasn't that long, but
that probably did feel like
it did feel like forever.
It felt like a week, but
So yeah, there was a whole lot in that time frame to go through, but again, the doctors were like, it was a fluke. So I'm like, really, there should be no fear in having another baby.
Right.
I don't necessarily remember like bringing God into that decision.
Oh, to get pregnant again?
To get pregnant again. I don't remember being like, I was very much still like hands-on in my own life. Like, yeah, he's there, but it's my decisions, basically.
Right.
So got pregnant right away, and that pregnancy was really hard. Just pregnancy after loss it's hard because
I'm sure
I didn't know for 20 weeks that there was anything wrong. And so leading up to the 20-week mark to go to that appointment, it was so much anxiety.
I was going to say, was it fear and anxiety?
Fear, anxiety, but I did have the hope that I started feeling this baby move. And something within it I never felt him move. Yeah. So I was like, well, that's different. It's got to be good then. So the whole pregnancy, I was like, it's a girl. I was hoping it's a girl because it would be really hard if it was a boy type of mindset. Went to that appointment. Everything was great. It was a girl. Knew it. Yeah, and I feel like I still struggled in that pregnancy just with the trauma and like, oh, if, what if we get to like 30 weeks and something happens? It's just normal trauma stuff.
Yeah.
But
typical pregnancy.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. But she was born on December 12th, 2020. She was perfect. She was great. Yeah. I had her in a different hospital, which was good. I didn't have to.
So did you have different doctors?
Yes.
Everything?
Yes. Okay. I was like, gotcha. I can't go back there.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back there with the way we were treated the best. Definitely very cold to us. There was the comments made to me when I had Bennett that was just like, I can't go back.
Right.
So different hospital, different group. I remember with my first appointment with the new doctor, I went and I was like, look here. I learned how to be very assertive with Bennett's after Bennett. Yeah. Like, that will never happen to me again. I will never be a fool and let you people, like, I was still kind of angry. I was going to advocate for myself, which was very helpful in what I'm doing today. Yeah. But
well, I feel like that's too part of God's inserting some of those blessings, and a lot of ways can help still shape and mold you in different ways.
Oh yeah.
Through all
of
that.
It's nice to look back now that I can see all like the things that God's like, that's what I wanted you to learn. That's what I needed from you, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, hot mess. Yeah. And I was just mad at everybody. And I was like, look here, people, you will do what I want because you're working for me. But Finley is great. She's 5 now, and she is just like the best kid. And we never thought that we did think like, oh, she's our miracle baby. But when she was 1.5, we're like, let's have another baby. So it took us 6 months to get pregnant.
Okay, so that one took a while.
And I was like, every month I'm like, oh, it should have been quick, like the last 2 times. And, people know that when you want a baby so bad and every month it's a no, it's like, yeah, it's hard. But eventually I was like, I don't even care anymore. Just whatever, God. It's just like, I can't control it.
Right. So there's a little bit of surrender in there.
Yeah.
With that.
Yes, definitely surrendered it. Like, obviously it's not supposed to happen for us right now, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember finding out I was pregnant again because I went to like a softball game or something and my brother was like, are you pregnant? I was like, no.
How did you know?
And I was like, oh, no. And the next morning I was like, oh, maybe I am. Went and got a test, took it in the Casey's bathroom, and sure enough, it was pregnant. And I was like, oh. Went to go, we were going to my brother's again. I said, hey, you remember yesterday when you asked me if I was pregnant? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, I am.
So, yeah.
So again, felt great. I love being pregnant. Yeah. I would be pregnant all the time if I could.
I know. I remember with Quinn's pregnancy, it was phenomenal. Theo's totally different story. But
really?
Yeah. Just totally different experience. But yeah.
Yeah. So got pregnant after 6 months of trying. I everything, we had a healthy baby. I was like, everything's good. But by 14 weeks, I was like, it's not good. Like, there is something wrong.
So how did you know there was something wrong?
I was not feeling anything. And I was like, and we had switched hospitals again. We were going to the birthing center. And I was like, there is something. I emailed them. I was like, can you tell me like where my placenta is? Because I am not feeling anything. And I was feeling stuff. So I was like trying to think like, okay, what would cause this? Hoping it wouldn't be what was wrong with the first baby.
Right.
And they're like, well, we can't tell you where your placenta is. Like, we haven't done an ultrasound lately, but you'll find out you're 20 weeks. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'm choosing to believe that it is nothing. So we went to our 20-week ultrasound, and I'm just like, I just know. I'm like, it is not going to be good, but I was choosing to believe everything was fine. We took Finley with us to our appointment.
So you knew something was wrong at 14 weeks, and they told you to wait until you're 20 weeks. So for that whole 6 weeks,
oh yeah,
you just knew something was off. Wow.
Yep.
I can't imagine the worry or like the anxiety for
it's
that.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Like, and to know, like, because I can see things from both ways after all of this. I'm like, okay, there's a trauma brain. Which I'm like, okay, I'm choosing to believe it's trauma. Like, this is a trauma response, everything's will end up bad, like everything like that. But I'm still choosing to believe that I could be wrong.
Right.
So we're taking Finley. Finley was that, that was the sign of hope.
Yeah. So at this point, do you feel like you brought God into this pregnancy, or do you feel like it was still like you guys?
Yes, I definitely was like, yeah, God was definitely more into our decision making and everything like that.
Okay.
And I think now maybe I was being told, maybe because it took 6 months, like, hey, don't do this.
Right.
Which who knows,
Right. Everything still happens for a reason, and God is never surprised by what's going to happen.
Right.
But there's still lessons in that too. And
we still have free will. So, maybe he was like, no, maybe not. Right. And I was like, but I want to. So eventually, got pregnant, went to the 20-week ultrasound. It was very hopeful, but new. And the ultrasound tech was so sweet. And she was like, do you have any questions? I said, I don't have a question. I have a request. If you see anything wrong with this baby, please just tell me right away.
Yeah.
Because at the last time, they didn't say anything.
Right.
And I was so caught off guard. Like, I don't know, just in baby bliss, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's like, have you had a pass? And I'm like, yeah. And I need to know right away. And she's like, okay. Immediately, as soon as she puts the wand on, she's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So, which I knew.
Yeah.
I'm a mom, I know. But this time around, as far as the experience with our team, so much better.
Yeah.
They had a referral to MFM at Carl before we even left.
Yeah. To make sure you're taken care of. Yeah.
Instead of just being like, your baby's gonna die. Let us know if you want any more appointments. That's literally what they said to me with Bennett.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Right. Well, I feel like just with that shock, it's almost like you need someone else to be able to walk you through that and say, okay, here's what the next step should be.
Yeah.
What are you comfortable with? And then you just kind of, you have some guidance there at least.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really cool that even through that, you knew something was wrong, but you still chose hope. And you still knew, like, okay, God's somewhere in this with us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So, because I didn't want to be who I was, back when I had Bennett, everybody's like, nobody wants to be around you. I don't want to be like that. That's not what people want. So I'm like, I'm choosing hope. I am choosing to trust. I'm choosing to not live in dread. Because that is what a lot of people do in this situation. They just live in dread and death. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that.
Right.
I'm choosing, because I think when bad things happen, you can choose to walk in faith and, seek the goodness instead of just like everything's bad, which is so easy to do.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're so vulnerable in those moments too. That's exactly when Satan come right in and just get those thoughts in your head, and he works by deceit.
Yeah.
When you're feeling vulnerable like that, it's not that hard to be deceived and to want to prefer the easy thing over the hard thing. So
yeah. So the team at the birthing center was great. I mean, that was like my dream, to like have a baby at the birthing center and like have a water birth and like all the things. And but like we had decided if this was to ever happen to us again, we're done. Like we cannot just keep on doing this.
You decided that before you got pregnant this time?
I think it was during.
Okay.
Well, yeah, probably after Bennett. Like we're gonna try again eventually, but if it happens again, then we're not meant to have kids.
Right.
And again, at this time we didn't know. They said it was a fluke. But immediately when she's like, oh gosh, like it's the same thing. I was like, obviously they missed something. Like I was immediately ticked off. Like, why didn't you look into this? Having your babies die is not normal, but they just don't really care a whole lot. They're just like, oh, whatever.
Right.
So I got in with MFM, which that was a whole other trauma because I had to go right back to where I was with Bennett.
You mean like physical location, or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Physical location. Walking at the hospital, like just immediately crying.
Oh yeah.
Because it was just so hard. And I remember sitting waiting for my appointment and just bawling. And this nurse, I think she was the manager of the department, came over to me and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, not okay.
Wait till I just dump this on
right. Yeah. And it was so great because I had learned how to advocate for myself. I went into that office again and I'm like, look here. You are going to find out what is wrong with my babies.
Right.
And we are not just gonna let this go this time.
Right.
Like I was very level-headed. I'd quit crying. I was level-headed, very direct.
Right.
I was like, your first job is to save my baby if you can. And if not, you're gonna find out what's wrong with them.
Right.
And that doctor was so great. She was just like, don't take this the wrong way, but you're very weird. I'm like, thank you. And I said, what do you mean by that? She goes, most people in this situation are losing their minds, and you are very level-headed and very assertive. And I'm like, yes, because I've done this before and I will never be treated like I was last time.
Right.
And we had a great experience with them.
Good.
Another part where God redeemed that, because I was like, these people are idiots, basically, is what I thought.
Well, and the fact that he was able to not only redeem, but like he was able to use your past trauma to be like, okay, this is how you can help advocate for yourself. And then anyone listening to this, if they've ever experienced that, like, wow, I could have done that too. Yeah. Or if they end up going through an awful situation like that, they can
I think people in the medical field, they are so desensitized to that stuff. And to have somebody be like, no, you are going to look into our case, you are going to do your job, right, and you're going to act like this is a baby, I think probably shocked some people. So like every time I was in there for weekly appointments. There was no like, oh, we'll schedule you more if you want. Everybody knew me. They're like, oh, and I'm sure it was like, oh crap. But that's fine. I don't.
Here she is.
Yeah.
So from the time that you did your ultrasound and you went to that hospital, so did you continue weekly appointments from there?
So I was done at the birthing center. I couldn't go back. Right. Obviously risked out. Went to the hospital, and from then on out, it was like weekly or 2 times a week sometimes. Okay. To monitor or like an amniocentesis, like, which is they grab like water and cells out of the bag of water,
Mm-hmm.
and they send it off for further testing.
Okay.
Since Bennett's didn't come back with anything negative, you have to do another set of like further in depth.
Okay. So were these appointments more of like the testing, trying to just figure out, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this and find a solution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just checking, because what we found out finally, is that Drew and I have a gene, and it's the same broken copy.
Okay.
So our kids have a 25% chance of getting each gene from each of us.
Okay.
Which would cause them to have what's called Nimblin myopathy, which is a muscular disorder.
Okay.
And that's why those babies never moved, because they couldn't.
Right.
So, and knowing that, which they were like, oh, which I thought I would have a lot of peace knowing, and feel better about things.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we got the results, I felt horrible. It was not peace.
Right.
Because that decides, like, we're not having any more kids. Right. Which is not what I had planned.
Mm-hmm.
What I had planned.
Right.
But that was hard. It was a whole other grieving process.
I'm sure.
Not just the boys, but to never have any more kids. When I'm like, I love being pregnant.
Right.
And, you know, it's easy to be like, why do all these people get babies and they're fine and we don't? And, you know, just stuff like that. But it was hard.
Yeah.
So we got 11 weeks with Owen. From the time we found out at 20 weeks that he wouldn't live, we got 11 weeks.
11 more weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was your choice because you wanted to do more testing and
okay. Again, I don't think that should be our choice when your baby dies. I'm just like, I think I'm gonna carry him until he's not there anymore, and that's just how it is. And a lot of people are like, how do you do that? Like, that's so great. I'm like, I know people do it, but how can you expect me to pick a day that I'm going to deliver my baby and he's going to die?
Right. So at this point, he was still alive.
Yeah.
And so you were just doing more testing, knowing that there was something. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, you know, when I went in for that first appointment at the hospital and I'm like, you're going to do your job, blah, blah, blah. She was like, I have looked at what's happening and it is not compatible with life. Like, there is... that other doctor was truthful. Like, and so I had to accept that. I'm like, okay, well then you're going to figure out what's happening.
Right.
Yes. So yeah, lots of tests. We had to repeat the tests that we did. And I was so mad. I'm like, why are we wasting time? Because if he dies, then there's a lesser chance that we'll find out.
Right.
And they're like, well, insurance. Insurance. Okay.
That could be a whole other podcast.
There's a whole, I could go on forever about how stupid insurance is. Yeah. But yeah, just weekly check-ins because he wasn't moving, so it was kind of hard to tell if he was dead or alive. And sometimes I'd go in there and they could not find his heartbeat. And like, I would check his heartbeat before I left because I'm like, I do not want to be blindsided. Right. Sometimes I couldn't find him, and like, of course, I'm like, shaking because I'm so freaked out. But they were so nice and so gracious. They're like, let's just get an ultrasound. Like, it was just no big deal. Let's just go check. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, so we got 11 weeks more with him. We got the answers we needed. And before we got the answers, I remember I had driven somewhere and I was at home and I was praying before I went inside, and God told me, he was like, I am not saving him there. I am bringing him home. Mm. And I remember it was just like okay. And I was accepting of it, and I was like, fine. Yeah. Went in the house, and that was it. But when you have time to sit in this, is when the control starts to come back in. And I'm like, I got to control everything because he's still alive, and we got all these things that we got to do before blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I wish I would have just held on to what God had already told me. Right. I'm bringing him home. He will not be with you there. And that would have gave me a lot more peace if I would have just held on to that. And I wouldn't have been as stressed out. But,
Hindsight.
Right.
Obviously in the moment.
Yeah.
Like you have pregnancy hormones with that, and you know that he's still alive because you're checking all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And maybe that was, of course, God's never surprised. So he knew you were going to try to control all of it.
And I had, not so much now. Obviously, that's part of me, but back then, that's what I needed control. I controlled everything. Like, I was stressed out all the time because I wanted to control every little outcome, everything. And through our story, I learned how to not. And, like, I really learned how to hear God's voice through all of this, which was nice. It just sucks that this was the journey I had to go through to do it. So I connect with God through music a lot. And the song that came up when I was pregnant with Owen was Build a Boat. And I just love that song. My shirt is Build a Boat. And
it's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song. And so I remember singing this song, like just blaring it, screaming it. And I'm like, I don't know the significance of this song, but it keeps coming up and I just have to sing it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like looking back and I'm like, okay, build a boat, when it seems like it's impossible or it seems like, why would you do that? I kind of feel like carry him anyway, even when it doesn't make sense to other people. Like, Noah people thought he was an idiot. Like,
building this big boat.
Right. But there's never been rain. Right. That makes sense.
Right. Rain doesn't exist.
Right.
If you're building a boat.
Yeah. So to me, like carrying him anyway, knowing that he would die was my boat. I'm going to do it anyway. Even if it doesn't make sense. Even if, I felt like that's what God was telling me to do, is carry him anyway.
Right.
I'm like, okay. So this was 3 years ago? Still love that song. We're still building boats over here, guys. Yeah. Which I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Anyway, so we got 11 weeks with him. God was so good because even though I didn't have the control of living or dying with him, I was like, God, I have requests. Please do not let him die on Finley's birthday.
Right. Yeah, because it would have been right around that time.
Yes. So I was like, please do not let him die on Finley's birthday. And please do not let this ruin her birthday party. Like, that was my 2 things. Like, I don't want to have to reschedule it because how inconvenient and how, not embarrassing, but like, I didn't want the questions. I didn't want that. Right. I don't want that. Yeah. I don't need you to do that. Right. So I was like, please do not ruin her birthday party. Ruin. And please do not let him be born on her birthday or us be gone for her birthday. Right. And sure enough, like the day after her birthday party is when I noticed that he wasn't there. Yeah.
So how did you notice if he?
So even though he didn't move, like sometimes he did roll.
Okay.
So it wasn't necessarily this. It was more just rolling or like, right. Or he would have some hiccups.
Punching or kicking, but
yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, he would have hiccups. So like sometimes like, oh, he's got the hiccups, he's fine. I don't know why I did that. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I'm like, my stomach feels weird. Like it was just very movable. Like if you push on your belly, you can. It was way more than it had been. Right. And I was like, there's something wrong here. Tried to find his heartbeat, and I'm like, you're gone. Yeah. So preparing for that, and I remember calling my doctor, and they're like, come on in. Let's get an ultrasound confirmed. Calling my husband, calling everybody. But me needing control, I was like, I gotta clean my house. But first, like, before we go do all this mess, let me just clean up a little bit. Let me pack some bags. Like, we had a photographer coming, which was so sweet of her. Like, who wants to go take pictures of a dead baby? But she did it anyway. Right. Still did it. Shout out, Polly. But yeah, I was, like, cleaning my house. It was, like, 2 hours, and the doctor's like, where are you? I'm like, yeah, I had to do some things first. I'll be in. I gotta go drop my daughter off, and then I'll be in. And they're like, well, we're gonna leave for the day. So if you want, you need to get in here. I was like, oh, okay, sorry. I didn't realize it was We were working on your schedule.
My apologies.
Yes, that's all right. So we go in there, and one of the things, and one of the reasons why they kept monitoring me every week was because with their condition, the mom can get mirror syndrome, and sometimes moms can get high blood pressure or like start to swell or like just different things like that. And thankfully, I never had any of that. But one of the things was at the last ultrasound that I think he was head down, which was great. But when they went to go look at when I knew he was dead, he was breech. And I was fine until I heard that. And I was like, lost it. Like, because I did not want a C-section.
Right.
I'm like, that is not my plan. Of course, my plan.
My plan.
Yep. And the doctor, she was so sweet. She's like, why are you so freaked out about him being breech? I said, because I don't want a C-section. She goes, you can still have a natural birth. And I was like, seriously? Yeah, like, we don't do those because it's more about the baby and we don't have to worry about hurting him. I'm like, okay, cool. And of course, I was at the birthing center, so I'm like, I wanted all natural. I wanted water birth and all this stuff. So when they took us over to get admitted and everything, of course, I'm like, we're doing it my way.
We're advocating for you.
Yes. Yeah. Advocating for myself, what I want. And the first doctor I had, he was like, whatever you want to do, like, we will do what you want. And I'm like, thank you so much, because I need that. 'Cause I can't do anything I want to do because my baby's dying.
Well,
dead.
Well, I feel like in that moment too, there's so much loss of control. I mean, thankfully the doctor, I feel like, recognized that and said, okay, you need to have something that you can control, something that you feel like is your choice. Because right now you've been given a lot of things that aren't your choice. Right. So. Yeah.
So we, obviously, if you're not ready to give birth, you have to be induced. You have to do the Cervidil, which softens your cervix. I had to do Cervidil with Bennett and Pitocin. And I was really hoping and praying that I wouldn't need Pitocin. Because it's rough, and it's just was not my plan to have Pitocin. But God is so good, and He, I basically had an unmedicated birth. Like, yes, I had to have the Cervidil, but I didn't have to have any Pitocin. Oh, okay. Because my body did it, and I was like so proud, like. To be in such a shitty situation, sir. And then have your body do what it's supposed to do and it's not doing anything that you want it to do. Right. I was like so pumped. I was pumped for life. And I'm sure these nurses were like, whoa. Why is this chick's probably medicated or something. She's so happy.
This is a weird trauma response.
Yes. But I'm like, it's God, people. This is the goodness of God right here. So I'm like, look, I was supposed to be at the birthing center. I wanted a water birth. I wanted, I don't want you on me all the time. None of that. And the nurses were so great. And they're like, well, do whatever you want. Yeah. And I did have one doctor that did not want to do what I wanted. But the nurses were like, we'll get you visual. What do you want?
You talk to us.
Yeah. We'll get you much better. So, again, so good that I had him naturally, basically. Yeah. Didn't have to have any Pitocin. My water broke on its own, there's a cool story with that. My father-in-law and my sister-in-law were there. And I was tired and I was like laying down, and it had been a long time. It takes a long time. Mm-hmm. And my water broke. Well, then later I find out that my father-in-law was praying. He's like, God, please just have something happen. Oh, and then my water broke right after. So there's so many things in that story that God was like, here you go. Like, the party wasn't ruined. He wasn't born on Finley's birthday. Right. It was the day before her birthday.
Oh, it was the day before.
It was the day before her birthday.
So you guys already had the birthday party, but it hadn't been her birthday yet.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, like I look back now, I'm like, that was the best birth considering the circumstances. Like, it was as close to what I wanted as I could get.
Right.
And that is glory to God, because it could have not been that way. I could have not had people that were like, let's give her what she wants because of the situation she's in, and there's no risk, really.
Right. Well, I wonder how many people in that situation don't even think about stuff like that. Like, they're just maybe at the point of total loss where they don't even care what happens. Just get the baby out, and I want to be done.
And I'm sure that probably is the norm. And
that's probably what a lot of doctors are used to.
Right. And I'm like, no, he's my baby. Bring him over. Like, I want all the things. So that, had him. It was a great experience to have him. Right. Finley came, and she was in our pictures with him. Oh, yes. So, like, to see your kids together, because you'll never see that again until heaven. Yeah. Like, that was important to me, and it was fun. It was lots of laughing and smiling. I remember we had pictures done with Bennett. Just a nurse came in and take them, and I never smiled. Like, obviously I couldn't. I was so out of my mind. And and I regret that. I'm like, I wish I would have had pictures of him smiling, because I am happy to be his mom. Right. So we got lots of pictures smiling, like laughing. It was great. Yeah. And then it's like, as soon as the pictures stopped and she left, it came back down to, okay, this is the end. Yeah. Like, we will only get these couple extra hours. Right. Until we decide to go. And one of the questions, they're like, okay, so how do you want to leave? Do you want to leave him in the room and you guys leave? Or do you want us to come and get him? Or do you want to take him? And I'm like take him down wherever they go. I wouldn't have even thought of something like that. Yeah. Which just speaks to how much they cared about the details. Yes, like the control of it. Right. Like, you can control the situation with what we have. What do you want to do? And I'm like, of course, crying. I'm like, none of those sound good. Like, I don't want to leave him. Right. But that's, like, such our earthly perspective of, I'm leaving my baby here, which is so unnatural. But I'm like, but he's not here. Right. Like, I knew he was in heaven, but, like, earthly, we just I couldn't leave him. Yeah. I'm abandoning him is basically what it felt like. And I was like, I think you should come get him and take him to where he needs to be. And it was just like, not only saying goodbye, but that was like a closing of a door of having kids. It was like grieving two things. So that was, although it was way better than Bennett's, I was in a way better spot than Bennett's. Yeah. It was still extremely hard. And everybody's like, oh, you're so happy, and how can you? And I'm like, it's Jesus, because even though it sucks, we have hope in knowing that we'll see these kids again. But again, your earthly perspective just takes over sometimes. Yeah, that earthly reality. Yeah. Kicks you right in the butt. Yeah. Well, and I think it was probably great that God's presence was definitely there, and you felt that. Doesn't take away the reality or the grief, especially knowing, okay, now we know for sure we're not going to have any more kids. Yeah. This was a decision we made. So when it comes to that decision to not have any more kids, did you bring God into that too? In that moment, or was that no, that was I don't want to say it was. Yeah. I mean, but we just like looked at what was in front of us, and we're just like, obviously he doesn't want us to have any more kids. He keeps taking them home. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of like our decision. Yeah. I would have loved to say that we did that, but we didn't. That's the truth. Yeah. But now we get into what today has for us, and so we decided we wouldn't have any more kids. Right. That's a lie. We wouldn't have any more biological kids.
I was going to say and after Owen, when you guys made the decision to not have any more kids, was it ever in your mind that you would look at having kids that weren't biological?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're like, of course, they were like, oh, you could just do IVF. Like, we could just test them and, like, throw the bad ones out. I'm like, no.
Right.
Like, because they're my kids. I would choose to have them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew, like, I was talking to IVF moms, and I'm like, tell me about it. I know it's expensive, obviously, and insurance is, insurance. And I actually got onto, like, a Facebook group for IVF moms, and I clicked, join group or whatever, and within minutes, God was like, no, that's not what I have for you. I was like, okay, let me just get off that group. I was like, okay, cool. So we looked into, like, adoption, which I will say that adoption was always in the plan. I had a dream when I was 9 years old that I adopted a kid from Haiti.
Okay. And so I was just about to ask the timing. So you're like, when you were a child,
yes,
you had a dream and just knew somewhere down the line you're going to adopt a child.
And I ended up with a guy who was like, sounds great. And I was like, cool, but let's have our own kids first. So we knew adoption was in the plan. Obviously, that's what we wanted. And I held on to that dream. Like, obviously, God wants us to adopt, or He wouldn't have given me this dream at 9 years old. And gave me a guy who was like, let's do it. So adoption is very expensive. We are not. We're poor little people. Like, paycheck to paycheck, just like most people. So it seemed it was far-fetched. Like, no. I looked into adopting an embryo. That door's shut, just like the other ones. So
adopting an embryo, would that be like kind of like surrogacy, or?
So when people do IVF, they usually make way more embryos than people will need. So sometimes people will put their embryos up for adoption, and then you could carry the embryo.
Okay.
Which I thought would be so cool. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I would be able to be pregnant. I would, we would have this baby and, like, not necessarily know anything about it. Like, yeah. And I was like, that would be so cool. And God's like, no. Okay. Not for us. So I was really, me and God had a lot of chats about, I'm like, surely, God, this is not the end.
Right.
For us. Like, I just never felt done. I'm just like, this is not, you're not just going to give us one kid. Yeah. Like, that's not. So
I remember the dream I had when I was 9 years old.
You told me.
You said.
And
we should probably put in here, it is okay to ask God questions. There's a difference between asking questions and questioning His authority over your life. Because even Abraham, Jacob, Noah, I don't think Noah ever questioned him.
No, he was just like, let's do
it. Noah was like, yeah, cool, bro, let's do this. But even like people in the Bible, they all ask questions. They never questioned His authority. It was more like, okay, how do you want this to work then? Because I'm not sure.
Yes. And like, I knew God had something for us, but everything was closing. All the doors were closing for, to extend our family. And if we ended up at foster care, and I was like, God, I do not want to foster. That is worst case scenario. Like, I literally told her, I don't want to do that. And that is the only door that swung right open. And I was like, cool.
So how did you get to foster care then?
I think I was just like, this is our last avenue. Like, if we want to extend our family, if we want to keep being, parents to kids, this seems to be the next thing to look into.
Okay. So So was it just more like a strong feeling you were getting when you got to that door, even though that was the last thing that you needed?
Yeah. Well, the fact that it just swung wide open and it was like, yes, like we'll come to your house next week and like talk to you. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I was hoping this door would not open. To be honest. But you just know that God's got a plan, and unfortunately it was not the one we wanted to happen. And even our families were like, are you sure? You've lost a lot. And like, obviously with fostering, that's not the plan, is to adopt. That's not the plan.
Right.
It's reunification with families. And we're like, how are we going to raise these kids, for however how long, and then have them go back?
Right.
So we really had to surrender that dream, that these kids probably wouldn't stay with us if we got any. But I was like, you know what? It's not, this is what he's got. And this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Kind of that clarity of, okay, this is definitely God working.
Yes. And I forgot this part. Before we looked into any of that, we were asked, this was in February of 2022, we were asked if we would be open to taking an emergency placement. They were foster kids. They needed an emergency placement, so that something could be investigated in the house that they were in.
Right.
And we were like, okay, like we can be those people. We can, just for a short time, we can do it. So we called the caseworker and they're like, are you licensed? We're like, no, but we've heard of these girls and we would be willing to help them.
Right.
They're like, well, they are like, I think at the time they were like 3 and 1.5.
Okay.
And they're like, do you have a crib? I said, well, my daughter is in her crib, but I can get another crib if you want. And they're like, yeah, like if you can get it, like how fast can you get it? I'm like, by the end of they're like, we don't want them in the house over the weekend. I'm like, okay, we will go get the stuff now. But the crazy timing of it was, this was like 2 days before Owen's due date.
Okay. So you're still like fresh and great. Because how many weeks was Owen when you delivered?
31.
31 weeks. This was a few weeks later.
Yeah. So really? He was born on December 21st and his due date was February 19th.
Okay.
So yeah, I was fresh, but like, we're doing it. Like, I guess.
So at that point, was that when the foster care door was blown open for you guys and knew that was something God had for you, or was this before you realized that?
It seemed like that's what he had for us, but ultimately those girls did not come. We were setting up the room. We had people come in and help us, and it was all day. We hadn't heard from this caseworker, and I was like, should we put this crib up? And my sister was like, we will do what you want to do. And I distinctively remember saying, even if it's not for these kids, it is a promise that it's for somebody's kids. Like, because God would not bring us into this trauma dump. Like, I was like, oh my God, it's so God. Like, it's his due date. We're going to bring home these 2 kids. Like, all this stuff that just seemed so God. Like, and they didn't end up coming. And I was like, what the heck just happened in the last 48 hours? So it was crazy. So that's kind of when God was like nudging, like, hey, foster care. But we were like, no. Like, we tried it. They didn't come. We're good. We did our due diligence there.
Right. We already opened the store. We looked in.
Yeah.
It
was a no. It was a no for us. Yeah. But, so yeah, ultimately we did. So that was February of 2022. And I think we contacted DCFS to start the process in August of 2022.
Okay.
So there was a few months where we were trying out all these avenues and like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
But of course God was like, you're doing it. And I'm such a bratty kid that I'm just like, I don't want to. Like kicking and screaming, but eventually I'll do it because I know that's what he wants.
Right.
But I always whine about it.
And of course, this whole time, you still have all of those things that you bought.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Yeah. And that's another, there's so many things. Like, I hope you blocked off a lot of time because there's so many God things in this. So after having Owen, God told me, he's like, clean out your house. Get rid of everything. So all the baby stuff. And that was another, like, we're done. Which was hard.
Right.
But God was like, no, get it out. You're done. Like, I want you to clean your house out.
Mm-hmm.
And then that happened. And then we had to go buy all this stuff.
Why did you have us buy all these things? We already had some of it.
Right, exactly. But, yeah. It was kind of like a roller coaster there. Mm-hmm. But I think he was just testing my obedience. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I don't know what this is for, but I'll do it, I guess. Like,
yeah. I feel like that's for me, that has been the hardest thing is I have no idea what my next step is, but you're telling me to do this and that's very clear. So I'm going to do it. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. I'm pretty sure some of the stuff I don't even want to do. Yeah. But I will. And then later on, you're like, oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. That makes sense now.
And I feel like testing your obedience probably isn't the right word. It's probably strengthening your obedience muscle.
And I think strengthening your trust in him too. Just, right. Because testing, he doesn't necessarily test you, but he will still give you your lessons to know, like, okay, this is what I have for you, but you need to trust me first, and you need to be willing to just do what I ask.
Right. First. Even if I don't want to get rid of all the baby stuff, like, yeah. But he was like, get rid of it, and I was like, okay. So I threw out a whole bunch of stuff and got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. So August 2022, we started the process to become foster parents. That took months. I mean, it's a lot that goes into it. Still, our families were like, we're supportive, but like, ooh, hey, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, this is what God's got for us, and that's what we're doing. My poor husband, I know he was probably like, no, but he's such a sweetie. He just, okay, if you think that's what God has, then okay. Yeah. So we got our license in February. I think it was like February 24th.
Of 2023 then, right?
2023. No. Oh, so it was a whole year. Okay, we didn't get our license until February of 2024.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you started the process. If you started in August of 22.
It must have been 23 that we started the process. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had that little fostering nugget there. And then a whole year and a half later, we finally said yes.
Okay.
Sorry, God.
Like I said, he is never surprised. He knows exactly how long it's going to take. He still chooses to refine you in that process and to work through you.
It is. Yeah. You look. I mean, I feel kind of like foolish. Like looking back now, it's like, why did you?
So I have a thought about that because it's something you haven't shared yet. So after you had Owen, is that when you were still donating breast milk?
Yes. Okay. So I pumped for donation after Bennett. They said it was a possibility that your milk would come in, but we could give you a shot and like dry up. Okay. Well, they never like came back to do that.
So this was after Bennett.
So I donated twice.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I knew, like when I had Bennett, I was like, that's something I wanted to do. Because if I never get the chance again.
Oh, right.
I wanted to have breast milk. Like that was one of the things I was so excited for was breastfeeding and like all this stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't pump very much with him, but after Owen I did the same thing and went through the process for donation. I pumped for 6 weeks and got over 400 ounces for donation, and
that is so crazy.
Yeah. Which isn't like in perspective, like it's not a whole lot. But the fact that I didn't have a baby crying,
right?
I didn't have a baby waking me up in the middle of the night, and I still was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So that was a cool journey, and I shared it on my social media, and I was like, you know what? People need to see that you can still be selfless in this situation.
Right.
So if I can't feed my babies, I'm going to go feed other people's babies.
Right.
So on his due date, meanwhile, we're still trying to get these cribs and everything set up for these kids. My plan that day was to go to Springfield, which was like 2 hours, and donate my breast milk. Which I had been in contact with this lady, and so we get there, and she takes me into this room with the freezers, and she's like, tell me your story. So I tell her, of course, I'm crying, and I'm like, but God's got kids coming to my house today. Like, we're setting up for these girls, and she's like, would you mind if I prayed for you? Which we're in a government building. Like, she's basically was like, keep it hush hush. So I'm doing this. She was so sweet, gave me a card and some flowers and prayed over me. And I think that girl was an angel. I do, because I messaged her like the next day or later that night, giving her an update that these kids were not coming. She never replied. Oh, which was odd considering we had been texting earlier. Right. And I'm like, I always wonder, like, if I would have called back and asked for that lady, would they know who she is? Right. So just a really cool God thing in there. Like,
yeah. It's one of those, like, you could try to find the answers, but do you really want?
No.
Because
I'm choosing to believe.
Yeah. Just that faith. Yeah. That's crazy.
Isn't it? Yeah. So it was like a whole thing that day. But yeah, so.
It's always so funny to me how God will make you wait, and he wants you to be so patient, but then, like, once he knows something has to happen, it goes so quickly. Yes. You're sitting there, you're like, I feel like I was just in a whirlwind of whatever you had.
That's what I feel like this whole last 6 years have been like. Like, 7 years. I'm like, man, so much has happened. But it, like, flew by. Yeah. So, crazy stuff. Just so many God things in our story. So we took a long time to say yes. Said yes. Got our license in February of 2024. Within 25 hours, we got a call for a sibling group. A sibling set.
Were we part of the same home church at that point?
I think so.
I remember that.
Yes.
We both go to the same home church, which we love. We basically meet in someone's basement and learn all the things about the Bible, and it's great. And I remember when you guys said that you knew you were called to get your foster care license. And so we were all praying about it. And then I think I remember that message. You're like, so we just got it, and 24 hours later, we're being asked to take these kids. And we're like, okay. Yeah. So I was not messing around then.
No, it was so fast, and it was like, you're nervous and excited and like, And I remember listening to the voice, though, and I look at my husband, and I'm like, what do you think? He was, what do you think? I said, we signed up for a reason. I guess we should. But the fact that it was 2 kids and not just one, I'm like, that's a lot. Right. But they were in our house on March 1st. And
so just days.
Yes, wow. Days. And they have been with us ever since. Yeah. And we are on the road to adoption. So crazy. Yeah. And yeah, it's insane.
If only your 9-year-old self
knew
what that would look like.
I know. And
years down the road.
I think about that, and like, I still wonder, I'm like, are we going to get an international adoption? Because that was from Haiti. That wasn't from here. So like, I'm always curious what else God has for us, but yeah, just.
Yeah. And I feel like dreams are so interesting because I have dreams too, and I always struggle with, okay, is this like a literal meaning or is this just figurative? What? Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I had a dream that we had a son, and this was when I was pregnant with Quinn, and I knew we were having a girl, and Theo wasn't even born until like 7 years later. But the dream was very clear. It's a toddler standing at his bedroom window now, which would have been Quinn's room. We were getting ready to prepare the nursery for her, and we knew for sure we were having a girl. So that was like a literal, you're going to have a son. But then there's some other dreams I've had where I'm like, is this, I don't know if I want this to be literal. Yeah. But maybe it's more figurative. We'll see. So it's just always very interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very heart open to what the Lord has for us. I've surrendered a lot, surrendered control. I mean, it's been a hard couple years, but I'm just like, whatever you want, we'll do.
Because let's see, you got pregnant with Bennett in 2018? Is that
19?
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, going, so yeah, 7 years.
Yeah, and it's crazy to look back and be like, I went from like, oh, God is, God, he's there, to don't think you're a thing at all. I think you're horrible. Like, to I'm trusting you, to just total surrender. And like, even if I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
Because I know that your way is better. So.
Yep. He's building a very interesting boat for you guys.
Yes, and that was the thing. And I didn't even like put it together until last year. Were you guys there that week that I shared that? That's church.
And
I
know I was, at least. I can't.
Yeah.
I have a hard time remembering Nick because he travels.
Yeah. Looking back, and I'm like, God never stops asking us to build boats. And that was the significance of Build a Boat, the song. So like putting that crib up, I was building a boat. I don't know what was going to happen with it, but I knew one day we would have more kids.
Yeah.
So.
And so when you got your kids in 2024, did they use that crib?
No.
So you still have the crib?
I do still have the crib. There for a while we had 2 cribs, Finley's crib, and then the crib we bought for the little girl that didn't end up coming. And it sat in the closet, and I'm just like, I don't know, God, but I did end up, I don't know, maybe that was me kind of like, well, he did give us kids. He did fulfill the promise that there was kids, but there's no babies to need this crib. So I ended up getting rid of Finley's crib, and I loved that crib.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit harder than I was expecting, because I was like, well, I have the kids you promised me, like, so do I feel completely done? I don't think so. But I don't know. And of course I'm trying to think of my earthly wants, right. And it's like, would I love to have a baby? Absolutely. Right. But that doesn't seem like it's in the cards for me. But God can do whatever. So, yeah, if he brings us more kids through fostering, or adoption, or however, I definitely don't feel a pull to keep our license open after this. So I don't know how he'll do it, or if he'll do it, or if this is what we get, and that's fine. But I don't know. Yeah. There's a reason, because obviously after we decided not to have any more kids, it's like, okay, do I go get my tubes tied? I wanted to be a surrogate. I was like, if I ever get the chance to be a surrogate, I'm going to need my tubes. Can't get them taken out. Like, and I never wanted Drew to get a vasectomy or anything. So yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. Leave it up to God and see what he has for you. Yep. Yeah. As far as right now, we've got 3 kids, a 7 and 2 5-year-olds. And that's great. Yeah. It's hard, but it's great.
And some animals too.
Yes, we have the cats and the goats and the new bunny. That's 14 pounds, so.
Oh, wow.
She's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're just arms open, whatever God's got, and that's fine, and we'll make it through. We've made it through the last 7 years, so we'll do it. I have to complain about it first, but we'll do it.
Like, it's what a lot of people do too. Yeah. You gotta grumble a little bit.
Yeah. And he's so funny. God is so funny, because I imagine him looking at me when I'm doing this, and he's like, come on. Right. I know you're gonna do it. Yeah. Because I asked you to. Yeah. But why do we have to do this step? It's like, because I want to. But he's so gracious. He's just like, I'll wait for you. Yeah. I'll wait for your yes. And
wait for you right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes when I pray, I can get very sarcastic. And then I feel like I'm very sarcastic, but I thought that was a pretty funny joke. Are you laughing? And I'm like, I don't know. I hope so. We all have senses of humor, right? So
Right.
he should have.
And I feel
God
like
also has a sense of humor.
Yes, and I feel like
but-
he shows up to us how we are sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to like level, you know, and
Yeah.
to let us know that he's not like some angry, you know, looking down on us like, why'd you do that? And you know, so to me, when he talks to me, sometimes it is very sarcastic, like, Madison, come on.
We've talked about this.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Mm-hmm.
He gets me.
Yes, he does. He gets all of us. So, one thing through this podcast is encouraging women to live their faith boldly and to just encourage them in general with whatever they happen to go through. So if there was any encouragement you could give or any guidance for women going through your situation, whether it's they've in the process of trying to get pregnant, they've already lost a baby, or someone who maybe has been told that they can't have kids, you know, just that grief and loss to go with that, what would you tell them?
Okay, so I'm new to living my faith boldly. I'm a bold personality.
Right.
But doing things publicly is new. Like my word for the year was be bold. So I've been trying to do that. But man, once you surrender your comfortability and do what he has for you, it's insane the peace that you'll feel and the joy, and your eyes open up to things that you wouldn't have seen. Like I can look back on our story and see all these things, see all like the fruit of the seeds that he planted, to the people that are grieving infant loss or pregnancy or just cannot get pregnant. There is joy in the morning. Man, there is so much joy, and we can choose to have joy, or we can choose to sit in our grief. And like I said earlier, like I am choosing not to be stuck in this grief, because I did not want to be the person in 20 years still just debilitated by grief. Right. But God gives us hope in the future, and I know that I'm going to get those boys one day, and I'm going to get to hug them, and it's going to be great. And so yeah, just make decisions with the Lord. Don't do what I did to begin with. He'll be gracious and he'll wait for you, but I would definitely recommend pulling him in first thing.
Yeah. And even if you're even not sure what that looks like how do I invite him in? It can just be a matter of just saying like, hey God, I'm not sure how to invite you in, but I'm going to do it. So here even those exact words,
yes.
Like if you're not sure what to do.
When I started the process of surrendering, before I would even open my eyes in the morning, I'm like, God, I give you my day. I give you my kids. I give you my finances. I give you my worries. That was a game changer. Yeah. Like I used to be so freaked out about money, and I control things. So like I wanted, and he calls me out sometimes.
You're the control freak. So
yes,
I totally get it, especially with finances.
Yes. Finances is hard. But if you are putting that first, he will talk to you. He will call you out. Like I remember I was like, I'm doing so good and blah, blah, blah. And
look at me go.
Yes. And God is like, if you trust me, why are you hoarding your money? And I was like, dang it. I was like, man, you're right. Yeah. Maybe I'm not as faithful as I seem to think I am.
Yes. He has no issue humbling us.
Yeah.
But he does it. I feel like he does it in a way that we need it to. Like, for me, sometimes he does it in a gentle way, especially if it's something that I don't want to give up. And I'm also someone who struggles a lot with self-doubt. So, like, I would get down on myself. Like, how could you do that? How could you keep that? And so sometimes he meets me in a gentle way. And other times he can be more sarcastic, where he's like, come on now.
Yeah, I feel like he's pretty sarcastic. Because I need that. I need that definite, you're giving it up.
Right.
do it or you're going to be miserable, basically. Like, because I have a better way for you and you're choosing this road that's not as easy. So yeah, and surround yourself with believers and people who will pray for you, and that's a huge difference in specifically my, like, the community of loss. With you surround yourself with believers, your road is much easier because they can point out the joys, they can pray for you, they can, you know, kind of shake you and be like, this is temporary. This life is temporary, and we have hope in eternity because that's what the Lord has given us.
Right.
So yeah.
And I feel like too, if you surround yourself with people who are godly people, they will pray for you when you don't even know it. And they're working for your good and working for the kingdom in places of your life that you haven't even seen and may not ever know about, just because that's who they are. So when you went through your grief, did you like join any actual support groups or any like groups on Facebook, or was it just surrounding yourself with Christians?
So there's not very many groups for pregnancy and infant loss. There is one that was local that loved the people in, but it was not necessarily faith surrounded. And I knew for me that's what I needed. Like, I was just getting out of this, I don't even think you're real. Like, so I really needed like a strong faith group. So really I just stuck close to my family, my mom and my sister. I love the people in that group, but the group specifically, how it was ran, just was not for me. So
okay. Yeah. Always different avenues.
Yeah.
So also with this podcast, one of the things I think is really cool is your job, what you do, and specifically who you choose to photograph and what you advertise. So can you go into a little bit of that? Because I think with your experience and now doing a piece that has to do with that is just like one of God's full circle ways of being like, see, this is me working.
Yes. So I'm a photographer. I've had my business since I was 16.
Yeah.
I just turned 27. So I've had it a long time. It
also just blows my mind. Sorry, I'm totally changing gears for a split second.
No, you're good. You're good.
It always blows my mind how young you are. Like, I'm not that much older than you. I'm 36, but just knowing all the things that you've been through. Yeah. That was all like your early 20s. Yeah. And as you get older, you're like, wow, early 20s, you're still a baby. Yes. And you're still learning things. And I feel like God also God knows your heart. And to know that your heart could have gone through all of that trauma and still chosen him at the end of the day is just incredible. I've gained a lot of wisdom in the last, and people are like, oh my gosh, like, you act so old. I'm like, well, I've been through a lot. Right. Like, I'm mad I don't have gray hair yet. Like, I deserve. You are mad that you don't have gray hair. Yes, I think I have one. I looked at it the other day. I'm like, I think it's gray, and I'm happy about it. Because I deserve that. I've been through so much. I'm like, I want people to be like, wow, yeah, she's been through it. Yeah. Yeah, I have. They can look at you and they can see it. Yeah, like, boom, she's aging bad. Yes, because of what I've been through. Yeah. But, yeah, so I was 19 when I got married, 20 when I had Bennett. And so, yeah, I've been through a lot. Yeah. Just in the 7 years. And that's okay. Yeah. Because I have hope and eternity, and I'm like, one day, this is so temporary. Yeah. And I think that's what's so important to hold on to. Like, have heavenly perspective. Like, this is temporary. This is just a blip. This is just like, this is not even half of a blink in the whole span of time that we have. Yes. Yeah. So I'm like, it's okay. I mean, would I have rather had my babies? Absolutely. But I can give up this little bit of time for eternity. Right. And whether that's raising them from infants or just, I imagine Bennett being older for some reason and Owen being like 3. I don't know why there's such a huge gap there. Right. But yeah, have heavenly perspective. It will change your life for sure.
it just seems like it makes you think that this stuff doesn't matter as much as we think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about? Were we talking
Your
about my job?
photography. Yes. Your photography that you do.
Yes. Okay. So, I do all kinds of stuff. I do weddings, families, seniors, all that stuff. But I really wanted to do labor and delivery, because selfishly, I don't get to have that. So I want to insert myself into your guys's. But man, it's so magical. I love it. I did my first one 3 years ago. And it was like it was at the birthing center too, which was like, oh,
the same, yeah,
the same birthing center.
Birthing center, you never actually gave birth there, did you? Okay, no. That was like your dream.
That was okay. Yes, and
because even with Finley, you were just at a different hospital.
Yeah,
right. That's what I thought.
It was like leveling up to like that, but. Yeah, so I didn't get to have my birth at the birthing center, but I got to be there for this family's birth, and it was amazing. Yeah. Like, I love, like, high intensity situations. I played softball, and I was a pitcher, so, like, high stress, I love it. So, like, getting up at, like, 3 a.m. and, like, driving an hour to the birthing center, and, like, all that stuff's so exciting. That mom pushed for, like, 7 minutes after I got there, and that baby was there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like the best thing that could have happened. It was so like, and I was so close to missing it. And God's like, it's okay. Yeah, you're gonna be there. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
After that, mom was like, "Was you get here already?"
Well, she hadn't been there very long.
Oh, okay. So she had just gotten there too.
Yeah,
really? Yeah,
like 30 minutes, I think. So yeah, so I have done five births. And I think I have one for sure, maybe 2 later this year. Yeah. So yeah, I just love it. And I'm like, thank you so much, God. Because like, I don't deserve to have all these things. And he's just like, I know the desires of your heart. I know you love that space and I want to give that to you. So yeah, it's super cool and I love it. Yeah. If I could give up like weddings, I would do that full time. But I'm like, it's not my time because I have young kids and we don't live super close to family. So, I know eventually I'll get there.
It's one of those plans in the works.
Yes, it is. And I'm okay with waiting because it's awesome.
Yeah, the waiting is, I feel like once you've been through seasons where you had to wait and then you finally get to see the fruit of what God had for you, you're like, okay, I'll wait anytime you want me to. I might not, I'm still going to grumble. Yeah, I'm not going to like it.
Whine about it, but
I will wait. Yeah, once you get a taste of like, this is like a true blessing from God, you know it's from him, then you're like, I want more of that. How do I get there?
Yeah, and not being greedy with it. Yeah. Like knowing my position right now is to be a mom, and if I have to give up some birth photography, I will do that because one day my kids will be grown and they'll be out in the world and I'll get to do whatever. So just giving up control.
Yeah. Lots of surrendering.
Yes. Which life is much better when you do that.
It is. Which sounds counterintuitive. Yeah. Why you give up more control. It's almost like, I feel like a lot of people think giving up control means you're letting the chaos come in. And when you have God and you have your discernment that it's his wisdom and you're giving your control to him, that's totally different than everything else. Yeah. Everything in the world.
Yep. Gotta have that heavenly perspective.
Yeah. All right. Well, to close this out, I usually do a business spotlight. Today's spotlight's going to be Maddie because she's her own business. She runs her own business. So if anyone wanted to look to you for photography or just inspiration in general, I know you have a blog and you have your own website. So where can they find you?
So they can find me at MaddisonTomePhotography.com. That's my website. I have a Facebook, like the page that you can like. I don't post a whole lot on it. I don't think it's very personable. So if you want to add me, Madison Tome, I'm usually a lot more active on there, and I'm starting to do reels and
She's getting into this content creation space.
Awesome. That's part of my being bold this year. So you can watch me be super awkward on my stories. Most of it's all about God's goodness. Not even really any of it's about photography. Which is fine. I don't really care. But yeah, I do seniors, weddings, labor delivery, families. I have an Instagram too, Maddie Tome .photography. My blog. I don't blog all the time. I would not say I'm a writer at all, but specific things like fostering or having my boys, I can talk forever about that. So those are on there. My About Me page is, you can see my personality for sure. Some people are like, we hired you because of your About Me page. We just thought that was so awesome. So if you like sarcastic, go with the flow type person, that's me.
Yeah. And for those that are just listening, I will put links to her website and social media stuff in the description too. That way you can know exactly where to find her. So, all right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us for this episode of Sanctification Station. We hope you all have a blessed day, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.